I think we're working. Okay, hi guys, we are live and welcome to what is a new trial and a new format. The previous iterations of these have been to start up with Q&A sessions. The idea being that we can sit and answer some questions that you might be struggling to find answers to, or basically just pretty much anything that you want to ask. After last week's session, something that was discussed was the potential to actually get other people involved in the discussion. And those of you who perhaps caught last Thursday, I think it was last Thursday, may have noticed this brief incident where we had some speakerphone action going on, proper call in, which was quite cool. But alas, we have racked our collective brains and managed to come up with a way of doing this in, oh, hi, I can see Mike down there. Hi, Mike, how are you? Oh, hi, Lee, how are you? We've managed to work out a way of getting more than one person onto the stream. And turns out it wasn't that difficult, actually. But saying that, it's early days. Let's see how well it works to start with. As it happens, my friend Liz is an incredible friend of mine. She's a woman who's done so much for so many people in the community, and I count myself as being very lucky to be among those people. Even to, to the point whereby she's offered to help out doing something like this, which she doesn't have to do. So it's really cool to have some more people involved, and indeed it opens up the perspective, because how long can you listen to me ramble on for? That is the question. Well, the short answer at the moment is, unfortunately, guys, you are going to have to listen to me ramble for at least a couple of more minutes, to be honest, because we're still waiting to get Liz's stream up and connected. There's been a few teething problems with the technology, but alas, as soon as she's here, I promise I will drop her into the conversation and then we can make a start. In the meantime, I think it's important that we discuss the concept of what we're trying to do here, and it is based on Q&A questions and answers, or at least trying to answer what we can. The beginning of all of that, of course, is to start with your questions. This is a live discussion. There is a short delay. I'm not quite sure. I'll let you see. Oh, hi Sam, how are you? Hi Samuel. There is a short delay, and looking at it, I think it's a few seconds. So don't worry, we will get to you as it comes through. But as I say, there are a couple of sort of delays. I think it's just the way that it streams it and it buffers it. And we've got 2 people in remote locations. This is 2019. It's cool tech. So yeah, to open up the conversation. Few interesting things that have happened since last week, just to sort of give you guys a bit of an update as well on what's going on. Obviously, this is quite big news, and there have been some developments around some national in-person support that I'm looking to organise. And in fact, Liz, who you'll be seeing in a bit, has also asked if she can be involved in that, or has offered to help me. More to the point, she's not begging me here. She's not begging me to be involved. I'm sort of saying, Liz, would you mind helping? So yeah, that is all pretty good. The basis for this is Q&A, and what we're going to do is, at the end of this session, if there aren't any questions that are still outstanding, and indeed if there are, what we'll do is we'll load up a couple of tweets. We might even start a new handle for doing this. Load up a couple of tweets that you guys can comment on with questions or with topics that you'd like to see discussed. There are a few bits that were spoken about last week. One of those was definitely about doing more of this sort of stuff, the us stuff, getting more people involved in the conversation. So taking that on board and trying to run with that now, which is definitely good already. And indeed, I think there was some conversation last week about having more trans male representation, and that's something that I'm also looking into doing for you at the moment. I suppose the issue is that with all of these things, all I've ever really been able to do is offer you the benefit of my experience, and as much as that comes from speaking with a lot of people from the whole spectrum of the trans community and indeed the wider LGBT community, there are, you know, limitations to what I will have experienced and therefore what I can properly empathize with. So that's been taken on board. Another thing that was asked last week, and I haven't managed to do an awful lot yet, but I am working on it at the moment. I have got somebody lined up to help with that as well. Is talking to having some conversations around parents of trans people and parents who are trans people. Whilst I can sort of comment on the latter, the former has definitely been something that's quite a sticky, not a sticky topic. It's not a difficult topic, but it's something that I can't really tell you an awful lot about myself. And I know that people want to ask this. In fact, you know, I wouldn't be lying to say that even my mum has said to me that there is a sad lack of resource out there for parents of trans people. Even more so when it's trans adults. I think there's some incredible work. I mean, if you look at people like mermaids, the incredible work that they can do to support communities, where they're actually supporting the families of trans people and trans kids, trans youth, as well as just supporting the trans people themselves, which is lovely work. But you know, people need to be aware of it. It needs to be accessible. People need to be able to get to it and know it's there. So even if we end up signposting you to a few places, that might be how we start these things off. As ever, they say never work. What was it? Never work with children or animals. Well, it turns out that working with friends can be quite fun too. So she's left me hanging out to dry at the moment. I know that she was running around like a mad thing trying to get back, so she should be here shortly. But in the meantime, guys, I'm here to chat with you anyway, so please feel free to use the chat function at the bottom. If you don't want to access chat or you don't want to reveal your name on YouTube, that's absolutely cool, because I will also be monitoring Twitter, where you can find some information about about this post, and please feel free to comment on any of the posts you see there in relation to what we're doing. Also, if you're a member of some of the Facebook groups that we're involved with, there's opportunity to comment through there. And again, I will be monitoring those throughout the conversation just to make sure that everything is getting picked up, or as much as possible is getting picked up. In terms of key points, topics, and discussions, at the moment, we feel that this very much needs to be led by you, the users. It's very oh wait, no, hang on, guys! Exciting news! Without further ado, I would really like to introduce to you my friend and a person who has, God, rescued me from so many situations. This is she ready? Are you ready for this, Liz? No. Oh no, she's not ready for this. Oh, hang on. Let's give it a sec. Let's just let's. Oh no, what have I done? Liz, I wish I knew how to use this. Look, select camera. There we go. There you are. I think we've got you. And send. Guys, you're going to have to bear with. This is confusing. You're there. Hello. Right, everyone. This is Liz. Liz, say hello to everyone. Um, Liz, I was just doing a bit of an introduction, just explaining to people how all of my friends are always late for everything, and you were just perfectly timed there, just to catch us on that one. Um, why don't we? Give you a couple of minutes, and maybe you can introduce yourself to the people that have joined us this evening. This is truth and that. So it's really no. I haven't abandoned you at all. We're still here. There's no sound. Have you got sound now? We should have sound now, Liz. Yeah. Wait, hang fire. Okay, we should have sound now. This should be working now. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Well, and I can hear you, so it's working. Presumably, the good people of YouTube will tell us if they can or can't hear us. This technology is, I think there's still some things I need to work out with how this works, actually, Liz. Maybe we can have a session later to try and figure out how some of this works. Yeah, no sound. Good to know. Right, so the idea here is anyway that this is based on Q and A. So we need to. Still no sound. I can hear you loud and clear. That is strange. Oh, okay. Nothing from Liz. Oh, well, Liz, I'll tell you why. Okay, try again now. Now I've got your microphone turned on. I might have had your microphone turned off. Okay. Okay. You should now have a working microphone. We have got a bit of a delay, by the way. There's about a 20-second delay between when they can hear you and when it works.
Okay.
So we should now have sound for everyone, for both people. What we will do as well is make sure that every other system is set up with sound. So
yeah, by the way, I was late because I was giving Nicola a lift home from work because we had thunder, lightning and a hailstorm.
Really?
So, yes. So, and she needs to go to the shops and get something for dinner, and she doesn't rush these things.
Yeah, you can't rush food. I mean, it's one of those things. It's got to be done right. You know, at the end of the day, I don't eat a lot. I mean, I eat like maybe once a day, and if I'm going to eat, I want it to be right.
I have to eat 3 times a day.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yay! Samuel can hear us. Fabulous.
Yay! Samuel, if I remember, I think Samuel's all the way in Scotland as well, which is quite impressive. This is working technology right now. No, honestly, I mean, I think I probably should do something about it, but I never have breakfast unless I'm in a hotel, or like on holiday. It's a bit different. I rarely have lunch as well. I don't really understand it. Everyone wants to stop for an hour in the middle of the day to sort of sit around and eat grotty sandwiches. It just doesn't really do it for me.
I make my own sandwiches. I'm not telling you what I put in them because they're grotty, but
how bad can they be?
I don't have time in the morning, so.
How bad can sandwiches be? To tell you what, the sandwiches you make at home, or not that you make, the sandwiches that one makes at home are quite often the problem, because they are it's if you put a sauce in it, it sort of just goes and it all sticks up in the bread overnight. I've got to be honest, this isn't the sort of conversation
Don't make them the night before.
No,
that's the problem. That's where you're going wrong.
Well, maybe. I mean, it doesn't really happen. Right. Anyway, look, we should probably try and at least pretend that we're on topic here. So, everyone, hi. This is Liz, and we are here to try and answer as many of your questions as possible. What we will do once we know that this works as a format and find out a few of the issues. I think we're having issues in tech. Once we find out a few of the issues in the technology, we can start to actually prepare this a little bit further ahead, maybe schedule some events and give you an opportunity to ask any questions up front. And indeed, as we've said, I think Liz pointed out last week quite, shall I say loudly? Did you do it loudly? On speakerphone, that it was probably wise to have some topics, and I don't disagree with that at all. So bit thrown together at the minute, guys, you know, bear with. We are trying to do this right for you, but you know, it is a little bit haphazard and thrown together at this point in time. So anyway, we are here, we are listening, and we are waiting for your questions. What can we do to help you guys? What are you struggling with as a community? And where do you think we can help you in that? Any questions that you guys may have? No? Liz, we've done it. It's a miracle. We've answered every question. The world is a
I know,
happy
it's brilliant.
and relaxed place. I feel pretty good about that. All joking aside, guys, this only really works as a format if we have your feedback, and that means that we have to make sure that we've actually got some sort of dialogue going on. So now that we're happy that the audio is working, and oh no, what have I done?
I'm just going to check Twitter to see if we've got any.
I've got a feed here actually.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
God, you're so
I'm not. It's. I think the phrase is ambitious but useless. So let's just see if we can't. Maybe I can change this to see if we can change that. Change camera to that one there. Liz, why don't whilst we're waiting for the world to sort itself out, why don't you share a little of your journey with our users? Are you happy to do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Why don't we go ahead and do that?
Are you going to disappear again? You are, right?
I'm not disappeared. This is
or something.
We're all here together.
Okay, so I came out in 2014 quite dramatically at a New Year's party when I was incredibly drunk and just announced it. But I'm kind of glad I did, because it just got it out there. And the next morning when I woke up with a horrendous hangover, it was, shit, I've done it. And that's it. Right, let's get on with this. So yeah, at the time I was married with a 9-year-old son, and we were living together. And it was quite an upheaval for the family. But actually, sorry, if you hear barking in the background, it's my dog, who is absolutely gorgeous, but he barks at everything. Anyway, so
your dog barks at stuff.
Just shut up.
I don't think this is you. Somehow I don't think this is you.
So anyway, right. So June 2014 was when I actually officially came out in the world at work, and that was quite an amazing experience. Everyone at work was fabulous, had total support, and I'm still with the same company actually, and a lot of the same people still work there. So they've seen me go from no hormones, bad wig, slightly awkward dress sense, and just finding my way.
It wasn't a bad wig. It was a good wig. I liked the wig.
No, the first wig.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah, only that for a while. And then there's a guy at work who's in the test team. I work in IT, and he trains as a hairdresser, and he showed me a different style that would really suit me, and that's where that went. So anyway, yeah, so since June 2014 I've been through a lot of changes. I've been through Charing Cross, back when it seemed to be slightly more efficient than it is now, so I was quite fortunate with that. And I'm quite open about the fact that I have had gender confirmation surgery, or bottom surgery as some people refer to it. So that was in June 2016 with Dr. Saporn out in Thailand, which was an amazing experience in itself. And yeah, I haven't really looked back. Yeah, life's been quite good. I did have a boyfriend for about 9 months, which was incredible, especially after having surgery. It was such an affirmation that everything about my life was right. Unfortunately, that we only lasted 9 months, but it was lovely. anyway, that's a long story. So yeah, and over
Oh, we got time. It's fine. I can see the clip. No, I'm not going to do that to you. Don't worry.
no, over
In fact,
time,
you've been rescued because I think, not to interrupt, but I think if we look down at the chat window, we actually have a question.
From Wendy. I don't know. I mean, the thing is with HRT in early months, yeah, I think one of the things I noticed was I calmed down quite a lot. I don't know whether that was part to do with being out and being myself, but also because before I came out, I found myself getting quite agitated and quite angry for no reason. And I think the hormones definitely calmed that down and made me less angry. But I think I was more angry before I could come out.
Yeah.
And it was coming up to that point where it was like, right, I'm going to do this because I realised it was actually having an impact on my life. Short term, painful nipples.
Oh,
painful.
don't even start.
No. Oh, awful.
I had no idea that I could actually hit my own, for want of a better word, hit my own tit with my elbow. I didn't even know that was a thing until about a year ago.
Door frames and everything, they're just killer.
Oh, every single place. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Other than that, early changes, I don't know really. I mean, everything has been so gradual for me.
Yeah.
I think I did notice that I mean, I haven't got huge boobs, and I like my boobs. It's the way they are. But I think they did grow. The increase in growth seemed to be a lot faster after surgery. But then I wasn't on blockers. I was never on blockers.
No?
No, they put me on because of my age. They put me on HRT and just checked my T levels, and they dropped immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's quite interesting. I've read a few different studies to that effect. Look, you've got wine. This is the difference between you and me. Look, I've got water. Honest, it is just water, and you've got wine.
I'm a Catholic, baby. I'm not really. I'm not practicing. I was baptized into that faith, so I can do magic like that. It's
fair enough.
Yeah,
it's good to know. Don't worry, because when the stream finishes, my water will turn into wine very, very quickly. I can assure you. Going back to Wendy's question, of all the weird things, I think like one of the first things I really noticed, apart from the immediate hot sweats, which lasted a couple of days, and they were annoying. It was quite exciting as well, though, because I think it was nice to feel like that something was going on. You know, something was happening, which was quite immediate. I don't know if anybody else had this, but my sense of smell changed dramatically in the space of sort of a couple of weeks. It was really weird.
I don't recall that.
No,
that wasn't my experience. But then,
weirdo.
You know, maybe it was just the sheer excitement of actually starting hormones and being on that month.
Quite possibly. I don't know, because it was weird. So I noticed that at the same time as I noticed I was starting to get a bit of motion sickness. And it's really strange because you're talking to a girl who played a lot of video games. I mean, I literally have my own World of Warcraft tattoo, which I'm pretty sure I've just told the entire internet about. But it was definitely one of those weird things. I was sat there and I was playing this game, and I just started feeling really dizzy all of a sudden. Not something that's ever happened before. Oh, it looks like Wendy's got the boob pain too. It feels like we should be doing a high five for this. You know what I mean? Like, hey, high five! You got some boob pain, exciting. Just keep an eye on it. Obviously, if it does get really painful or worse, then make sure you talk to your doctor about it. Liz, I don't really feel fit to answer Wendy's other question that we've got here, where she's asking the hair frizz. I mean, do
you know what? I'm absolutely terrible with my hair.
You've got nice hair.
Yes, I know, but I straighten it. I do wash it with shampoo and conditioner. I occasionally use this sort of purple rinse stuff just to bring out the highlights.
Sorry, did you say purple rinse?
It's a purple rinse, yes.
Not what, like?
It's like leave it in too long, and I'll look like
my grandma.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But apart from that, and I do use a bit of serum in it, just when I've dried it and styled it. But I just use straighteners, and my hair is really thin. it is awful. So, and it's just gone.
Someone said to me ages ago, they said you should get some biotin in.
Yeah, I do. I have used biotin. That's supposed to be quite good for your hair and your nails.
It's definitely, well, I'm saying it's helped. It's really hard to tell because obviously you change a lot of things at once. It's quite difficult to tell what thing is having which effect. It's not the most scientific way to do things.
No.
One
thing to do with nails actually is that before I started HRT, my nails were really tough, and afterwards, over the years, they've become quite brittle and fragile.
That's really weird because I've had the exact opposite. I've got to be honest, mine have got really quite strong. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did because of the biotin. I just assumed that it was the biotin that was helping with the hair and the skin and the nails.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing I would suggest, Wendy, when you do feel comfortable enough to do this, is to speak to a hairdresser, because obviously they deal with lots of people with different types of hair, and I was absolutely terrified of the hairdresser. It's one of those new experiences that you're like, oh my god, I've never done this. But I was fine. They poured me a glass of wine, so it was perfect.
You see, this is a definite plus side, right? I mean, for a long time, I won't lie, going to a hairdresser's was just a horrible experience. I mean, okay, fair enough. You get to talk about your holiday plans and stuff, but being realistic, and until I found the right hairdresser where you just turn up and they're like, oh, Sammie, hi, how are you? Here's some Prosecco and some chocolate. And you're like, yeah, I could get used to this. But saying that, I think I've had my haircut like twice maybe in sort of in about 3 years. I think I've had it done twice.
Yeah, I've had it done 3 times.
It's so expensive now as well.
Really? How much did you pay? I'm not going to ask.
Oh, no, don't ask. No, because you don't want to hear it. But it's quite a lot of pounds. It's less than £100. Let's just keep it at that. For the time being. I mean, to be fair, it should be as well because it's not a great job. Right, where are we looking along here?
There is another. So there's 2 questions come in. Just one from Wendy about shaping your eyebrows. I get mine.
Answer here is no.
No, I have mine threaded, which costs about £10.
Where do you go?
Just a place in town. But if you go places like Debenhams, and department stores sometimes have like the lounge things.
Yeah, some places are. There's loads of places that got it now. I think even like that big Tesco near us, they do it there as well.
Don't. I've been there and I came away bleeding.
Bleeding? Who did you
well, they just pinch the skin too tight. Anyway, listen. So yeah, threading is my preference, and I also use. Excuse me a second. Sorry, we're on my dining table, which serves as my makeup table. So I also use a really thin, hold on, where's the camera? Little brush and just an eyeshadow palette, just to shade it in the morning, just to make it a bit thicker. That's all. So yeah, and pluck the odd hair.
I don't. I've got horrible eyebrows. They're really flat. They always have been. I can't do anything about it. I try not to worry about it. So yeah, you've got lovely eyebrows as well. I don't even know why I let this person sit next to me, to be honest. It's just like she's just here to show me up. We've got a question here from Samuel. And Samuel wants to know, hey ladies, I hope both of you well. Yep, we're good. Well, I'm good. You all right?
I'm good, yes.
We're all good. Do you think HRT has helped you feel more at ease within yourself? This is a yes. This is the easiest question I've had to answer ever. Yes. Any further comment on that one?
Just yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, complete. I mean, I was out for quite a while, living my authentic self, as the phrase goes, for quite a while before I did start HRT. And yeah, it has really helped and obviously changed my body. body hair, which I never had a lot of, thankfully, has reduced. So, you know, it's really nice. Look, you can smoke in your bedroom.
I'm not smoking. What are you talking about?
You're vaping.
I'm not vaping.
I saw you.
No, you didn't. You didn't see anything. You can see the green room, can't you? That no one else can see. You can see the background picture. But no, so I mean, in fact,
the Sammie Liz show.
sort of getting fairly serious. I mean, I think that if anything, I would say that the sort of the level of comfort that I've now got in myself and with myself is if anything of more notice and definitely of more value to me personally than any physical changes at this point. And whether or not, you know, psychologically, I suppose, or internally, I would have been able to feel as much as I do, you know, like myself, as much as I do, without HRT is definitely, yeah, I don't think that would have happened. But that being said, if I've said it once on here or on my blog anyway, I've said it 1,000 times. I feel there is way too much emphasis put, especially in early days of transition. I don't know if you agree, but I feel there is way too much emphasis put on this urgency to get HRT. But I don't know how you feel about that. Do you find that there's quite a bit of a drive for that, sort of an urgent requirement, perhaps when it's not quite as urgent as it might seem?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it depends on people's levels of comfort. So for me, it was important for me to come out and just start living, and I was okay to do that. I think there are other people who want to sort of get some progress done before they actually take the leap out and into the real world. So I think it's quite a personal choice. One thing I will say though is that I know quite a lot of trans women, and I know that HRT has changed their bodies in different ways, and it does affect people differently. I do have a friend who's got really narrow hips, and it's never affected her there.
No.
She's, you know, she's still got skinny little stick legs and tiny Richard. Stop it.
It's a hilarious name for a dog, by the way.
Ricky, but he's
Ricky. I love it.
So listen, what I'm trying to say is, you know, HRT is not the miracle cure you're looking for. It may or may not give you the body shape you want. I think a lot of that is to do with your age as well. So I was 41 when I started HRT, and I have filled out my thighs and my bum, which is great. I love it. And my waist is slightly smaller, but I've got tiny little boobs. But the advanced thing is, I don't mind that, because actually, with my figure, the clothes that I find fit are better suited to small-chested women. So, you know, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm a small-chested woman, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, sorry, hang on. I'm trying to get this to work in the back. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to make other things work in the background while you're talking. Yeah, you know what? Coming to think of it, because I've definitely come to terms more with my body as well. I mean, the reality is that, yeah, I'm small chested, but then I'm 5'11", you know. And if you flick through, I mean, you flick through fashion magazines, you know, even like Vogue or whatever. And if we're totally honest about it, there's a lot of small-chested women in those magazines. I mean, you know, supermodels are. I know. I realise, for the record, before we get too far into this, I do realise that I am not a supermodel by any stretch of the imagination. Really? But let's be honest, it's well, yeah, really, don't be like that with me. But it's not unusual to be a tall trans woman. Let's face it, and it's not unusual for tall women to have a smaller chest. So I think it's very much just about embracing the body that you have.
I mean, another thing that I know, it's quite a few people have said this, and someone said it to me a long time ago, is look at cis women's bodies. She's vaping again. She's just put me on the screen. So look at other cis women and look at their bodies, and you know, there is such a variation. You know, not everyone has this ideal figure. So you know,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think that extends to things as well, like voice. Let's face it. I mean, you know, people have different voices. I know it was definitely something that I spent a long time worrying about when really I didn't need to, was my voice. But again, like so many things, as time goes on, I just realized that, hang on, this is my voice. This is how I sound. This is who I am. And there's an honesty and there's a reality in that, I think, as well, in just sort of accepting yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
It's the high, Samuel's just saying, it's the high pitched voice and the no facial hair, that people see a dude and then you open your mouth and it's like, oh, and you know what? I honestly, it does get, it just, I hate to say it because it just sounds like such a cop out, but it does get easier, doesn't it? I mean, you just sort of, people do just become more accepting. And I think perhaps like this over a video is a little bit different. But even over the phone these days, there's only that one cue. You've only got that one singular cue. And if that cue is voice, regardless of name, hello there, my name is Mrs. Samantha, you know, and yet they're still like, really? Are you sure that's your name? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's my name. That's what it says in my underwear. It's definitely my name, you know. Well, we have to. I mean, there's 3 girls in the house, and to be honest, it just causes chaos. It's not uncommon.
I mean, I used to be really dysphoric with my voice. I know it's not great.
You've got a lovely voice. Stop it.
But it is what it is, and then, you know, it's my voice now. It's not my original voice. It has changed, but it's not the, you know, I do get misgendered on the phone sometimes. It's fine. I'm just used to it now. I don't really care. I don't let it upset me anymore.
That is exactly the point, isn't it? It's at the end of the day, you know, people make mistakes. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are cisgender people who get misgendered from time to time. I know I've done it to cis people in the past, completely innocently and by mistake, just not paying attention to, you know, the cues. If there was one particular incident, I was sat in a pub and I'm chatting away to a friend, and somebody's put our food down on the table, and I quite rudely, to be honest, I didn't look up and I just said, oh, thanks, mate. And to say she took offence is an understatement. Do I look like a mate to you? I think was what I got told. Not an attitude I've ever taken with people when they've done it to me, it must be said. But yeah, no, it's true. That is, it does happen. I mean, I've done it myself, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm a bit like that. But it's one of those things. I think the point is that you made, as time goes on, the amount you worry about these things, the amount you care about these things, it definitely sort of,
yeah. I do think there's you know, in the early stages, and it, for me, maybe it was a year or so of being quite paranoid, and
yeah,
you know, I wouldn't phone the takeaway. I would go online, or I would actually get in the car, drive around and order it face to face. And you know, I stopped myself doing things because I was really paranoid about it. And now it's just like, I don't care.
No, I mean, even like the drive-through, like going to like McDonald's drive-through or something like that, I'm like, oh, hi, I always make an extra effort. And I think, well, it just occurred to me, like, sorry, who am I trying to convince here? Am I doing this for anybody else's benefit other than my own? I mean, it's a McDonald's drive-through. Does it really matter what you know, what they hear on the end of a speaker? Probably not, to be honest. So yeah, and in fact, I've spoken to Samuel, who's down here in the chat. I've spoken to Samuel, and I think your voice is all right, dude, to be honest. I think you've got a pretty cool voice, you know? I mean, like, what's the alternative? You don't want to sound like don't want to sound like Danny Dyer, do you? Let's face it, you don't really want to be right down here with it. I don't think anybody really wants a voice like that anyway. Don't worry, Liz, I'm not gonna make you do the same. So, yeah, no, hi, let's go back squeaky again. I think the wine helps. Actually, it doesn't. Do you get that? I know I get that. If I've had not
I tend not to drink very much.
So, I'm sorry. There's no way this can't go ahead if people aren't going to think that we're being honest. It's just simply not feasible. So anyway, guys, trying to get back on topic a little bit. As a trial and a format, we've sort of thrown this together a little bit tonight. A few of the teething problems have sort of been worked through already. I've been tirelessly clicking away in the background trying to make sure that the cameras are assigned to the right audio, to assign to the right thing. But technical problems can all be sorted out. What we really want to know, and I think Liz will back me up on this one, is what you guys want us to talk with you about. What can we help you understand? What can we help you to learn? What insight can we share? Or indeed, do you just want to hear us waffle on and chat absolute twaddle? Because I can assure you we're both qualified at that. Oh, hang on. Oh, we're being challenged here. Look, don't know. Samuel's just saying, I don't know if you will have an answer to this, but why doesn't HRT change the vocal cords in trans women? Do you know this? Do you know the answer to this?
I think it's something to do with the length of them, because I know if you have surgery, they tighten your vocal cords.
The length is what affects the pitch. Yeah, the length of the vocal cord is what affects the pitch.
But I don't know why in trans men, testosterone actually deepens the voice. I don't know why.
No. Sam, that is a good question. Thanks for pointing out that we're absolutely useless. I will look into it. I can probably come up with some convoluted answer, but I'll tell you what we'll do is I
guess the common sense answer, if you think about it, is you can't shrink them once they're stretched without surgery. But I guess the testosterone makes them lengthen.
Well, unless I'm mistaken, which it has been known in the past, within this bit, this is largely cartilage around here, not muscle. And whilst the vocal cords are a muscle, they are attached to the cartilage. And if that cartilage grows, HRT will not shrink it back. That's why your ears don't change shape or your nose change shape all that much when you take HRT. And so I would assume, assumptions are the mother of all mistakes, aren't they? But I would assume that it's something to do with the way that cartilage develops, and in trans guys, as the testosterone encourages that cartilage to develop. I think Liz is looking it up. I can just about see the reflection in her really nice glasses, by the way.
These boots off the shelf, darling.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Mine
I can't actually see.
No, I know. I'm getting closer and closer to the camera as these go on. When we started this a week ago, they thicken. Samuel's come back to us, Lizzie, saying for trans men, the vocal cords thicken.
Fabulous. Thank you for finding out for us.
This is good to know. Thank you for looking it up. You see, this is it. You don't need us. Go to Google and figure all this stuff out. No, don't do that. Do not do that. Stay here. Same time, same place, same time.
Really interesting question, and it's one of those ones. I have thought about the difference in results of male to female and female to male. Yes, hormone therapy, and it's kind of it's quite dramatic, the difference, and it's one of those things. Being a trans woman, your facial hair might thin slightly, but you've got to get rid of it. Yeah, and you need that treated. It's not going to do it itself. Laser, electro.
So much laser.
I'm on electro because I've got grey hairs.
Yeah, I've just been told actually at my last appointment that they might have to start doing some electro because basically the laser's turned them white. But it's a million times better than it's ever been. To be honest. I mean, I'm not going to win any bearded lady competitions anytime soon, which is a bit disappointing. But you know,
I did do Movember the year before I came out.
you know what? I think like 2 years before I came out, I did the same actually.
Yeah, I think I knew I was going to come out, so I think it was like, I'm going to do this, and then I can say I did it.
Yeah, I started laser before I came out.
I started laser before I came out of work.
Yeah, I started it quite a while. Oh, it's Anita. Anita's lovely, by the way. Say hi to Anita.
Hi, Anita.
I hope Edna's well. Yeah, the thing with laser is the list of excuses.
Sorry,
we'll do that. It's fine. Look, we'll bump Liz off the screen while she's having a little chat in the background.
I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Okay, she's back. So yeah, it was one of those things that the excuses that I was coming up with. Oh yeah, I suffer from ingrown hairs and follicles and all sorts of problems like this. I was just like, I've always been quite good at coming up with excuses. Let's face it. I think it's a skill that you develop when you're sort of living in a secret life, I suppose, or living a life that nobody really knows about.
One thing though, Sammy, I think if this does really develop and we get gradually get a larger audience, I think it'd be really really great idea to get a trans guy on to talk about their experiences, because I haven't got a clue.
No, I mean, I'm quite lucky because the support group that I'm doing some work with at the moment, there's some really amazing trans guys in that group, and a couple of other events that I'm involved in as well. I'm meeting some really cool trans guys, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. In fact, if my learned colleague had been on time, she would have seen that part of the discussion. But that's absolutely fine. If you don't believe me, you can watch it back later on. But anyway, I just out of curiosity, are you saying when this takes off? I mean, we are tonight, for the record, we've got 6 people watching at the moment. That's quite good. I mean, it's not 6,000 people yet, but give it time. The other thing is that at the moment, this is I think that we suffer a little bit here from what I'm referring to as the LGBT bubble, i.e. that this is shared through our Twitter account, and an awful lot of the people that we know on Twitter are either trans people or LGBT people. I think that's probably a fair assessment. And quite often aren't necessarily the people that need to be sort of hearing this, be explained to this. Hi. Amy's listening while she's working. That's cool to know. Sorry that you have to work, Amy, but thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. So there's no reason that we can't start to grow this. There's no reason that now it is a public stream. This is available for everybody with an internet connection.
It's terrifying.
No, it's not terrifying. It's fine because it's all safe. Because if it comes down to it, you just shut the lid on the laptop. You just close the lid like that, and and that's it. It all just goes away. I've got to get used to it. I'm doing a bit of public speaking.
And you're getting really involved in stuff.
I'm trying to. I don't know. It's just like I feel like I should be doing something. I don't know why. I just feel like I should be doing something. I guess
you're going through that phase I went through.
Oh, it's a phase. I've spent so much of my life being told it's a phase.
To be fair, mine was. I think you just want to get really involved and try and help people, and then for me, kind of life got back in the way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
but saying that, I mean, don't put yourself down because you still do quite a lot of work. I've seen some of the work you've been doing through your work as well. And that's that's important work that you're doing. I think we are on the tipping point here at the moment, in a point in history where trans rights are going to go one way or the other, aren't they? And I honestly think that we are going to be on the right side of history at the moment, which is where we want to be. It's just a shame we can't skip the next 30 years of well, I'm going to try not to swear on stream, but we can't skip the next 30 years of nonsense, shall we say, and just get straight to the bit where we start accepting.
Well, people have stood up for us and to allow us to be where we are now. So,
that's right.
Everyone has their time. But anyway, Are there any other questions from anyone?
Anything else we can help you to understand? Otherwise, I think we're probably going to park it for this evening because we're getting close to an hour. I know we're at 53 minutes. See, this is why my phone bill's so high. Yeah, we have all been told it's a phase at some point, I'm sure, Samuel. I think everybody in this community has probably been told that one thing at least at one point in their life. But you know what? I think that we do. I think people do go through phases of trying different things and trying, you know, different approaches in life, and some of those are more positive than others. It was only yesterday, cards on the table. I doubt she's listening, but I'll say it anyway. It was only yesterday that my mum said to me, she goes, "Why are you always sort of like on at the moment? Where's that all come from?" And of all things, I was talking about the environment. I'm not a huge environmentalist. I should be. I live on a basic plant-based diet, but that's about my limit of environmentalism. But I think you have to be. I think that, you know, if you aren't doing something to be part of the solution, then really you're part of the problem, right? Oh, Anita likes the idea of meetups. Guys, tea and coffee is all but ready to go, and I'm not going to put her on the spot right now. Oh, yes, I am. But I think my friend Liz is still there. I think she's already offered to be to help a little, maybe, perhaps, to at least come along and share a coffee. And I'll tell you what, I'll buy you a cake if you come.
This is how you get involved with Sammie, by the way.
Is it what? She just buys you a cake?
No. She just in front of lots of people says, "You know, you volunteered for that."
You did volunteer. You did. I did.
No, I'm more than happy to help.
You should think yourself lucky. The amount of stuff I'm doing at the minute that I don't even remember volunteering for. It was just like, oh, by the way, you're doing this now, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thanks very much. No, one of the girls I work with, she said, I said to her, why are you putting me forward for all of this stuff? And I think she said it's Operation Make Sammie Famous, and I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. Oh, we have one last question before we call it a day. We've got Wendy, and she wants to know, are there any stores better than others for trans, or is it really just down to staff? Presumably you mean trans women. I don't even respond to that. No, honestly, no, I don't think so. There's not anywhere where I don't feel sort of comfortable.
No, I mean, I actually had a run in at Tesco when I first came out, and yeah, I kicked up a stink I contacted their online customer services, and very quickly they actually seemed to change.
I just want to say here, actually, Tesco have been absolutely brilliant on
that. Yeah, I think, but you know, this was almost 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. I had an issue, and you know, I think it turned out really, and this was one of these coming out, and you're really sensitive to stuff. But it was a person who worked in customer services, and I don't know what happened, but they moved to another department.
Yeah,
and I think they were just, you know, if people aren't suited to work in customer services and deal with the variety of people that come through, not just trans people, but you know, you've got a whole host of different types of people who come through with all sorts of different ways of interacting with people. So yeah, personally, other than that single incident, I have had no trouble whatsoever in stores. Everyone's really professional.
I had one stroppy woman at a counter in another supermarket, Sainsbury's actually, who are also doing some incredible work at the minute, so I'm not knocking Sainsbury's. And this was before I'd had a chance to update my ID. I was trying to buy some cigarettes. I think I've told this story before. I was trying to buy some cigarettes, and she asked me if I had any ID. So I said, yeah, look, I've got my driving license here, but it's still got my old name and my old photo on it, which I'd love to say my new one's better, but it's not much better, to be honest. And it was fine. But then she turns around to me and she goes, I think this is going to be a problem. Now, I don't want to be under any illusion here. Admittedly, this was a few years ago, right? But let's be realistic. I think I'd struggle to pull off 17, or what is it for cigarettes? 15. I think, even I would struggle.
No, I think it's 18 now.
Oh, is it? I
Yeah,
don't know. It was a long time ago. Not that long
you
ago.
definitely look 18. You definitely do.
Thanks. I don't know why I put myself up for this stuff, guys. But no, I mean, it was that was fine. It was the moment when I said, look, it's not going to be a problem. And she goes, just a second, and she hollered across the shop, this bloke's trying to buy fags, and he don't look like his picture.
That's what I had in Tesco. It was this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, it's difficult, isn't it? But
yeah, I will say I've had some great experiences, even early on. I went to Phase 8, one of my favourite shops. I can't afford their stuff most of the time; it's in the sales. But I tried on a dress, and the lady there was like, "That dress really suits you. Would you like some shoes just to try with it, madam?" And it was like, oh my gosh, she called me madam, and it was so lovely. And it's just that working in customer service doesn't matter whether you're actually in the customer services team or on the tills or anything like that. It doesn't, it's not hard to be polite to customers, and if you can see that they are presenting one way or another,
yeah,
you can deal with that. Or if you're not sure, don't use the pronouns.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think in some cases, I don't think it's particularly rude just to ask. I meet quite a lot of people, as I'm sure you do through the work you do as well, and it's not always immediately clear what pronouns somebody would prefer you to use. And personally, I'd much rather somebody, politely asked me, excuse me, not being rude, but what pronouns would you like me to use? Then they just sort of turned around and, well, A, that they didn't want to talk to me, which does happen a lot. Yeah, or B, they just blindly sort of carry on and just be rude for the sake of it.
Samuel's just made a. Is it Sam or Samuel?
I think it depends what mood he's in. I think when he's in trouble, he's Samuel.
Samuel was just saying that he had a woman in another TK Maxx saying she wouldn't let me use the guys' changing rooms. I mean, I'm glad you stood up for yourself. I think it's horrible when you get those situations.
Yeah.
I personally haven't had that, but I mean, I've had stares and things in the early days. I don't get too much now. Thanks to hormones, really. Hormones, and I would say it's a lot to do with the way you present yourself.
I think there's definitely a truth in that. It's one of those things. Let's face it, I am not exactly stylish, right? But the reality is,
is that a top or a dress?
It's a top. It's only H&M. It was just cheap. I only bought it because it was a 10. I was like, it's a 10. I can wear it. It's great. I'm going to buy it. I don't wear dresses. I think that's a good point. I don't wear a lot of dresses. Like you said earlier, when you were talking about when we were talking about body types, that if you take the time to actually just look around you at other people, you notice very quickly how different everybody is in terms of body type. And I think the same goes for looking at style and dress sense as well. You don't see, well, not around here anyway. I don't know where anybody else lives, but people don't go and do their shopping in fishnets and high heels. It's just not, it's just not the way the world works. It's some people do, and all power to them. If I could pull it off, maybe, but I don't think I can. And it's just I think that does make a huge difference. That perhaps I think I was guilty in the early days, definitely, of maybe sort of dressing too feminine, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Sort of overdoing it.
I mean, I think everyone goes through this period of discovering their style
or lack thereof in my case. Yeah,
I love what you wear. Anyway, no, I do.
I don't deserve this. She said it.
But I mean, yeah, I went through, and I mean, I kind of did it in the closet. Went through this sort of teenage phase in terms of clothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will never share any of those pictures ever.
Well, Liz, I got exciting news for you. Tonight on live stream, we've got Liz's photo library. Can't wait to.
Yeah, so, you know, it's yeah.
You've been sharing some really cute outfits on Twitter, though. You've really got this whole sort of autumn winter 19 thing down. It's look, you've sorted it out.
This is old. Well, apart from this blouse, which was £14 from Matalan.
Extortion.
What? 14 quid?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, I just mix and match old clothes that I've got. And a lot of I was talking to someone the other day and they said, oh my God, you must spend a fortune on clothes. A lot of my clothes are Tesco, so Florence and Fred, Primark, Matalan, just
Primani, I think we call it.
I don't go to the posh section of Primark, darling.
Is there a posh section in Primark? I think the posh section in Primark's called H&M. It's just over the road.
I think, yeah, it's once you find your style, you can mix and match, and you don't have to spend a fortune on clothes.
I think definitely early on as well, when I was perhaps a little bit more nervous about things like we've been talking about, i.e. the sort of the changing room fiasco or whatever it might be. I think that I spent quite a while just spending loads of money on clothes, not really knowing what was going to suit me, what was going to work. And now it's like, oh, on your recommendation, by the way, Liz, I bought some jeans from Next the other day, by the way, because you recommended jeans from Next. I went to have a look. Oh, £5.
Yeah, full-waist stretch jeans.
Yeah. Anything to hold me in, right?
I've actually, they're the most expensive jeans I've got.
I think so.
I've got black, white, blue. Sorry, 2 pairs of black, 2 pairs of blue, and a pair of white.
Wow.
I've had them for forever. It feels like forever. Probably 4 years.
Anything with a high waist as well, because it just sort of it holds my
But also they wash well, and the blacks, the black ones haven't faded.
Really?
Incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are. If you're gonna spend a bit, if you're gonna buy some jeans that you feel comfortable in and will last you forever, I would recommend those ones. And they're stretchy as well. So as you
grow
on the HRT,
yeah,
you've got room to maneuver in those.
Growing room, yeah. Okay, cool. Right, everyone, thank you so much, and of course a huge thank you for my amazing friend Liz, who has taken her time out of her evening to do this after working tirelessly in IT. It's hard work, and I really appreciate that she takes the time to come and talk to you guys as well. So, one and all, thank you so much for getting involved this evening. Now that we've got a bit of an idea of how this all works, Liz, maybe we should start like 2 minutes earlier next time just to check everything actually works before I press play.
Yeah, next time hopefully there's not a thunderstorm and I have to go and rescue someone to stop them getting wet.
Hey, don't worry about it. Last time I had a power cut and we just completely lost the stream, so it's all good.
Yeah, right. I think we should. Yeah, let's plan it a bit better next time.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and Liz, I hope you have a nice evening, one and all. I'll catch up with you soon. Yeah, take care, guys. Bye for now.